welcome on our podcast, Sitting with Wisdom. We have the wonderful, elated Miss Zonnetta Marie. So, hi.
Hi, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I'm so proud of your podcast. So good for you.
I calm in the midst of chaos. When you hear that, and when we're thinking about how chaotic and how this life is always moving,
Yeah.
like how did you recognize that you were in the midst of chaos?
Wow. It's a beautiful, beautiful question. I realized that I was in the midst of chaos when I was so caught up on things I thought I was supposed to do in this life. It became chaotic for me to keep up with the image of what I thought I was supposed to be. And all transparency, I really came to a point in my life where I knew I needed to wake up from a slumber I didn't even know I was in. When my youngest son transitioned as a result of a car accident. But I am so grateful to the presence to know that his energy has just been rearranged and that he's still here. But once that happened, always thinking, I'm the mother, I'll go grow old, I'll go first. All those adages, all those catchphrases, all that stuff that sounds really good, but is not true. And I didn't know that. So sitting in that grief, I realized, how could I do a better job with my life? How could I really pay a true homage to my son's life, who was pureness and curiosity and love and peace on so many different levels that I didn't even recognize? I believe that my son Zarel was the epitome of unconditional love, and I wanted to change my life, and I wanted to alleviate myself of creating my own chaos, because I truly believe that chaos is self-inflicted.
Oh, that's so to go through that as a mother, right? As like you said before, we have these ideas of we're supposed to grow older, we're supposed to be the ones to transition before, and to be able to transition, right, and make that energy really stick in such a profound way. I feel like that is like beautiful. And a lot of people have trouble with that. And they get stuck in that, right? So it was the energy of your son that helped you pull yourself out of that moment.
That's right. That's right. And I literally went in my closet to grieve, and I didn't want to come out. And my oldest son, Trinity, came and got me out of the closet. And I realized I have to manage this stress. This grief. I have to manage this grief. How do I move through the grief? And I didn't want to really even pick up a book and read. I wanted to feel it.
Right.
I wanted to feel it. And I said, what can I do with this grief that will serve my life? And I chose to become still, and I chose to become quiet, and I learned meditation. I learned the beauty and the stillness and the wholeness of being able to sit with myself. And I truly believe, and this happened, my son transitioned on January 1 of 2020, so it's been 5 years, a little over 5 years now. He was 27 years old, and I have been so committed to the stillness, and I really got a chance to know who Zonnetta Marie really is. And that introduction was all through meditation and then also affirmative prayer.
Beautiful. So when you talk about meditation, we know breath work and all of that is really important. Was there some form of meditation that seemed to stick out more and help you transform your life?
I love that question, Erica. You're really good at this. I went through so many different ones, like downloading apps. I had this one app called Glow, Glo, and it was really nice. A lot of different meditation instructors, but I didn't want to be led by others. I needed to learn how to become quiet on my own. And so I discovered, and I really don't even know how I discovered it. And I thought about this, and I don't know how, but I discovered a meditation called Vipassana. It's an old Hindu meditation, And that translates into seeing things how they really are, not how we want them to be, not how we think they're supposed to be. And I don't know if you can tell it out, but I'm really a stickler when it comes to that word supposed, because I feel there is no supposed. It'd be nice, it's preferred, but there is no supposed. So I chose Vipassana because it really helped me decide what is happiness. You know, we cause our own misery. We really do. When we decide to have animosity over things, when we have a latching onto of things, and when we have ignorance, and all that brings us sadness and unhappiness. So I was like, what is the key to happiness? How do I get happy? And that was like going truly subdermal. I mean, it was like an incision by like a true surgeon to really find out what is true happiness and how do I find that stillness. And I actually started reading a book called The Art of Living by S.N. Goenka. And Goenka taught meditation, this Vipassana meditation, back in the 90s. And I had the opportunity to apply for a 10-day meditation course. Some people call them retreats, and I'll explain the difference. But I went on this I applied and I was accepted. And I went to California is where I chose to go. They have many different campuses all over the world. There was one opening up and I wanted to go as quickly as possible. So I went in 2023, 10 days, a meditation course in California. I was in the Sierra Nevada foothills. I was in a forest, and it was beautiful for 10 days. I meditated in excess of 12 hours. I took noble silence. I did not speak. And yes, I was the only participant there.
Now that is so interesting, but I'm not going to go there just yet.
Sure.
But so there's some there. The method of meditation that you chose, it sounds as if it's allowing you the ability to, like you said, find your own happiness, but not have this cookie cutter way of doing it. Because a lot of people get stuck in there, oh, I have to do this routine. How have you found that as far as the interactions you may have with people that feel like it's a requirement of routineness versus having this very free experience of your own creation and joy?
Wow. Beautiful question. I found that it's the knowledge, right? So growing up, my parents didn't talk about meditation. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. From time to time, went to the park, I would see people in the park meditating. I would see what's called the Hare Krishnas in the park, and they're orange, and they would be still. And things are usually weird when you don't understand, or especially when you're a child. You know, it was woo-woo. It was weird. It was, what do you mean meditating? What is that? You know, so really starting to normalize that. But the people that I've worked with, the beautiful people that have said, I want to learn meditations on that, you know, I'm stressed out, I'm anxious. I could talk all day about that, about stress and being anxious. That's also inflicted. Now, there are some cases where people have been diagnosed, and I respect that. They have to take a medication. I respect that. Right. For the most part, when people throw that around, oh, I have such anxiety, I'm so this, I'm so that. It's like, slow down and hearing your words and really unpack that. But being able to really sit down and say, this is how you begin. And we start from a simple place. And I learned that from the course I took. We start small. Like when you talk about breath work. The beauty of breath work is we don't have to think about our breath. We don't have to organize it. We don't have to drum it up. We don't have to plan or plot it, put it on our calendar. That is a gift from the Creator, that we have an inhalation and an exhalation. I meditate every day, but from the time I left my home to here, I never thought about my breath. I didn't think about it. I better get ready. I got to breathe. That is the gift of the presence, to be able to breathe. So when we have that internal gift and you can focus on that, that's almost the beginning of life. We think about when a baby is born, you think about your children. The first thing that doctors are concerned, in the beautiful nurses, because they need credit too, the first thing they want your baby to do is take their first independent breath. That is so powerful. So it's the knowledge of saying, be willing to sit and learn, be willing. When you have the willingness for anything, like your willingness to start this beautiful podcast, it will take you so quickly through an evolution of you. And we're always evolving every single day if we're awake.
That is very true. The requirement for me in life is growth. No matter which way, I have to grow. Because the moment you become still, you become very stagnant, and that's not the meaning of life at all. And so even when you think about breath, just that moment, and the moment you stop doing that and you become very constricted, right? And that energy becomes very still. It's like you're really missing out. So I love that. So you talked about the difference between your course,
Right.
and
A retreat.
So what was the difference?
Thank you for swinging back around. People say, retreat loosely because that's also knowledge. So a retreat is typically where you go and you pay to go on a retreat. You may pay for the meditation portion, healthy meals, maybe some hiking and some other activities. And that's a retreat. And you might pay thousands of dollars for that. But a meditation course, especially through Vipassana, is free. You apply, you write your story. They either accept you or they don't. I don't know what the other side of acceptance looks like. I was accepted, no questions asked, and there's no cost. All you have to do is get there. So I got my plane ticket, flew there, and the beauty of it is once you become accepted, you're open up to this full community. So there were other women, there's women and men, and the women and men are separate during the course. We just see each other in the meditation hall, but they're on one side, we're on the other. But all I had to do was get there. And then we carpool because you go out on a ride share board. And I found some other ladies, and one was driving, and she said somebody else wants to join us. And it was awesome. And people ask, Zonnetta, aren't you afraid? Mommy, aren't you afraid? Yaya, my grandchildren call me Yaya, aren't you afraid? No, we're all going the same place. And so that was beautiful. So all I had to do was get there. All my food for 10 days was prepared for me. It was the best food, Erica, I've ever eaten in my life. It was all vegan. It was healthy. It was fresh. It was made by volunteers, right? That wanted to give back. And my room and board was all taken care of. I went from the end of November. It was November 30th through the 11th of December, 2023. And going inside, and then during we had a strict schedule, not stringent, but I would get up by 4 so I could be the first one to use the shower in my dorm. And there were 3 other women, and we would move about quietly, of course. All our phones, all our valuables were locked in a locker. So there was no communication. I mean, when we took that vow of silence, that was it. And all our things were gone. There was no way to communicate. And what was beautiful during the day, there was always a span of an hour, about an hour and a half after lunch where we could exercise. And exercise was walking because it was small mountains. It was absolutely gorgeous. And, we had exercise every single day, if that's what you wanted. And I did. And then we go back into meditation. So it was an incredible, and my partner, Kendra, keeps asking me, would you like to go on another shorter? So because 10 days for her was a little hard for her.
Wow.
Just not hearing my voice, and just my family was just blown away. People kept asking me, did you want to quit? No, because that would have been quitting on me.
Right.
So the evolution continues. Yes.
So when we say and we think about harmony,
Yes.
right, and peace, and there's such a disconnect often with those two words.
Yes. Harmony and peace are good friends. They are joined. And I'll say this about harmony and peace because I don't want to be too stuck on, my experiences versus how this implements into my life. You have to decide, and I say have to. I'll change that. once you decide to wake up to your true nature and to be in a field of awareness that says, I want to speak only the things I want for my life. I don't want to sit here and complain. I don't want to complain about, I can't stand my boss. You know, he's doing this, she's doing that, my partner, my husband, my friends, all this drama. You've got to learn. Once you make the decision, you will learn that harmony and peace begins within, like truly. And you have to, one thing about it too, is when you get to a point where you raise your vibration, you put that vibration to a frequency to be in alignment for everything you want for your life. Like that's the blueprint. Like it doesn't change, right?
Right.
And so once you make that decision, things are going to fall away. Because when you start to make a change, it's not that you have to take on things. You have to lose things. You lose ego. My ex-husband says, ego stands for easing God out. And I love that.
Oh, that is good.
I love that. I don't know where that man got that. Shout out to Lonnie Fernando Crittenden, but easing God out. And I think every day I want to lose more and more of ego, because when you decide to let things go, you know, no more deciding, well, I need to read this person, or they said this, so I'm going to say this, or somebody cut me off in traffic, so I'm going to catch up to them, I'm going to cut them off. No. Because you start to realize what's most important. I need to be a light. I need to be the highest frequency. So in order to do that, I have to be at my highest vibration at all times. And it takes work. It is practice. That's why meditation is called a practice. That's why affirmative prayer is a practice. Life visioning for your life is a practice.
Yes.
But when you start to take that inner bath, just like and you talked about routine earlier, people thinking of as a routine. It could be a great routine. It is a great routine. The same way we get up and wash our face, brush our teeth, take our bath, our shower, floss and brush. Do the same thing for you. That's inner work. And I'm telling you, that inner work will have you seeing everything differently. The greatest compliment I've gotten so far in my life from my grandson, Noah, Zarel's oldest son. He said to me, Yaya, why are you always so nice? That's a 10-year-old.
Wow.
If I transition tomorrow, if I go off the mortal cord tomorrow, and my grandbabies can say, my Yaya was always so loving and always so nice, I'm good. I'm good. That's the legacy I want to.
Yeah.
My son Zarel left a legacy of unconditional love. All I want to do is pass.
That is beautiful. So what would you say to people who feel like chaos is all they've known and they're trying to find their way out of it? Like how? What are some things that they could do?
I would suggest the first thing is write it down. Write down what is the chaos that you feel you're facing in your life. Write it down. Like write it down one by one. And then take a look at that and see if that's all external. Is that all the external stimuli? Because you will never find the answer out there. You're not going to find the answer out there. I was listening to an interview that Doechii did.
Mm-hmm.
And she said something to the effect of, I was telling myself the same lie over and over again, that I was seeking what I wanted for my life out there. And once I realized that it was inside the whole time, I knew what I needed to do for my life and for my career. And I thought to myself, she is so young, and to already know that is powerful. For you to be so young and know that, it took me a long time and grief to learn. It's all internal. I never knew that. I never knew that it's right in here. Like the present sent us here with everything we need to be a success. And it's not just for other people.
Yeah.
It's not just for the Beyoncés and the Lettuces and the Gregory Porters and whoever else and the Will Smiths and all that. It's for each and every one of us. Well, we have got to start doing a check-in. And if you need help, say, I would like to learn meditation. How do I find that stillness? Because I promise you, chaos is coming from external factors. And it's all about that internal work.
Yes. So sitting and thinking as we're speaking, the internal has always been the thing that a lot of people find is silenced, especially in like the world that we live in. Like there's a lot of moving parts. Everything's going. And so you're not taking the time to really look inward, right? And when you aren't able to look inward and actually see yourself for who you really are and not what the world requires or desires of you, right? Then it really snatches and robs you of that inner peace. So being able to really quiet the mind, quiet the body, it seems like it's really done so much wonders in a lot of people's lives that I've been, privy to watch and enjoy. And so for you, when you talk about just the stillness of it all, and how important do you think stillness really is, not just the meditative part,
But the stillness is so important because it gives us pause. A lot of times we react. And I was speaking to someone in my family recently about always being so quick to react. Somebody said this on text, so let me react back. And I said, I've challenged you to become an observer. I challenge you to become an observer because when you react, and this is things that we've heard all our lives, but it was like it was scattered information. It's so beautiful when I see it all come together because my mother and father were dropping nuggets. They didn't realize they were. But I think about this. But when you give yourself an opportunity to just be quiet and you take a moment and you go in a state of pause, you may not have you won't have that same feeling later. So somebody sends you an ugly text and you go, oh, I'm going to say something back. Give yourself 24 to 48 hours. It's going to pass. And that's something that I learned very profoundly through Vipassana meditation, that all things pass, like the rising and falling of our breath, like the seasons change. All things come and go. Just like the song says, or the scripture says, as well as the song, this too shall pass. Rumi is a great philosopher and a spiritual leader. And Rumi said, it was a story I heard about that Rumi might have told, or maybe it was a spinoff of some Rumi knowledge. But it was, today is such a great day. I'm having such a beautiful day. It will change. I am having the worst day of my life. I'm so furious. Oh, I'm so mad. This is the worst day. It will pass. All things pass. And so you save yourself heartache, worry, regret, and having to say, I'm sorry, when you decide in that moment to have that perfect equanimity of saying, this will pass. It doesn't deserve a reaction. Let me just be an observer. And a lot of times when we think about having to react to someone or tell somebody what you think of them, what's that say about you? When did you become the judge? Because we all fall short. We all have things we could change.
yes.
So it all goes back to that. You've got to lose. You've got to lose. There's no adding on. You got to lose because you're stripping away the personality and the imprint and the experiences you've gone through in your life that have got you caught up in those bad habits. You start stripping them away. You start stripping them away.
That is beautiful. And I love that you brought up Robert. Like, I love Sufism, like just the poeticness of it all. But, this is so beautiful. So when you think about life and it being so chaotic, if we think about methods of being able to apply these moments of silence in the midst of the chaos, what are some things that you've done if you're out and there's some traffic jam or something, and you feel the humanness come up and rise? Like, what are some techniques that you use to kind of bring yourself back down to harmony?
It's a great question. When I was coming over the Matthews Bridge they had one lane, and I thought it might be a little difficult to get over. So in your driver's mind, you think, how do I maneuver to get into this one lane when I know everyone who's already in the left lane wants to keep going? So I thought to myself, I'm just going to pause and wait. And then I was able to ease over. I rolled my window down and I thanked the person. Then there was a huge truck that I knew wanted to get in front of me. I just waited. And I let the truck get in front. the truck got in front. Maybe it was an SUV that wanted to go, and I let the SUV get in front. There was nobody else, and so I proceeded. That's what I mean by stripping away. The former's on that. The slumberings on it would have been like, I'm going to be first. Let me get over. This truck is huge. I need to speed up, not allow the truck to get in so I can be first. No more of that. Because my job, I know now, my assignment is to breathe in the love of God and to breathe out peace of God. So my imprint that I want to leave, that I am on the road every day, is to leave an imprint of peace. And if it means letting people get in front of me, if it means taking an extra 5 minutes to talk to the associate checking me out at the supermarket, hey, how's your day? And having that conversation, it matters. Because my job on this planet is to be a perfect emanation of God's love.
I just have to tell you, you're doing a great job at that. So when you think about your journey thus far, like, is there like a moment that really sticks out to you?
Well, I tell you, it's so beautiful how things start to fall in place. I think I'm on the right road now. So I think I have many moments, Erica, to be honest with you, but it was so interesting to me that once I decided that I wanted to become a vessel of peace, no matter what, even when it hurts, even when it's inconvenient, even when it doesn't feel good. I think for me, it was so interesting when I came back from my 10-day experience. When I got home, Alexa just started playing music one morning. And I hadn't listened to music in over 10 days. So it was like, okay. And I'm like, why is she playing this music? I didn't need it. Sometimes AI will do that. It'll jump and start playing things. It will. And it's a true story. Alexa started playing this artist named Londrell. I'm sure you're familiar with Londrell. And I thought, who the heck is this? And I fell in love with Londrell. And from listening to Londrell, it started opening up more affirmation music, like Tony Jones and other people. And I'm just like, this is incredible. It was like the universe was like, now I need you to change the music you listen to. And I say all that to say, once you start making those changes in your life, it becomes so easy. Yeah. Like the people I used to hang out with and go on girls trip with, I don't hang out with them anymore. And there's a line in the song, that one of Tony Jones' songs, that says, my cutoffs aren't personal, they're spiritual. Yes. And I'm a lot quieter now because I'm by myself. I don't associate myself, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but if you're not awake, if you're not on the path of serenity and achieving and evolving, I naturally don't want to rock with you. Like, it's natural. I understand. It's not even something I have to think about. So it's just, I said that to say the music, because I felt like I said, the universe was like, now we need to get your music together. And, you can't keep running into the chaos, right? And I'm going to say this, live in broad daylight, the way we eat has to change too. You can't keep going to fast food and then coming home saying you don't feel well, and then you're running to get Peptidase D or whatever it's called, or Pepto-Bismol. We're doing that to ourselves. Yet every action has a consequence or a reaction, right? There's a consequence. So it's like, if you keep eating badly, you're hurting your body temple, and it's going to let you know. But when you start eating the food that God put on this earth, you make a change. Yeah, that takes away chaos. That takes away having to go to the gangsters that I call the medical. Medical here in America is really something. You don't have to pay all those co-payments and all that, but you're taking better care of yourself. So I listened to Queen Afua. I've read her books, Heal Thyself, which is a blueprint for Black people, for my beautiful Black people to understand. We're doing it to ourselves a lot of times. I don't take away from hereditary diseases at all, right? But when you start to tell me your stories about what you've done to yourself, you have type 2 diabetes, or your knees are bothering you because you gained too much weight, I'm not the one you want to tell that to, because I'm going to hit you with the truth. So We inflict chaos through what we eat, what we listen to, what we focus on. You know, where our attention goes, come on now. You already know.
Yes, very much.
It feels so good this way. And it's so amazing. I was listening, and I will suggest this too. Chaos, when you start turning off certain things that you watch and listen to, replace it with something healthy. Replace it with being quiet. Like I said, even if you just start with, I inhale, love of God, exhale. So say that over and over again in your mind. Put a timer on your fancy cell phone for 10 minutes. Keep doing that. That till you come out different. That's just a start. I just gave you something.
That's key though. And what I'm hearing you say is it's all about choice.
Man,
Just in the simplest form, it is all about choice. And you can choose to live chaotic, or you can choose to let it go.
yes.
And just having certain tools in place to allow you the freedom of being free.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even realize how captivating it is to be free.
Yes.
So when I hear you speak, it resonates so deeply. And I hope everybody else is really hearing what you're saying. It's not easy per se, right?
Yeah.
It does require steps, and it does require you to progress along, right? But when you actually make the choice to do it, it becomes much easier. It does, right? So I was sitting here, and let's see, when you think about the role of gratitude in your life and how thankful you are, how has that shaped your life today?
Yes. I tell you, when my son Zarel transitioned, I didn't take, initially it was shock and it was unimaginable. But once I started slipping in and getting more and more addicted to stillness, I realized to myself that the gratitude I had for having him for 27 years replaced anything I thought I should have had. I submerge myself every morning in gratitude. And when you set that tone of gratitude, every single moment, every morning that you wake up, that sets the tone for the day. I remind myself of what I'm grateful for. I broke a dish at home the other day, and I said, I'm so grateful the pieces are big so I can clean it up easier. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm so grateful that I have another jar like that in my cabinet. When you start to find things, my Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith is an incredible spiritual leader in our day. This man he founded the Agape International Spiritual Center in California. And I listen to him almost every single day. He has a podcast called Take Back Your Mind. And the services are Sunday. He starts with meditation. And it's not always him. He has practitioners throughout Agape that lead these meditations. So the service is always meditation and it's always a good word. And he says, Reverend Beckwith always says, the universe says, if you don't start being grateful, I'm going to give you something to be grateful for. And that is the truth. Yes, that is the truth. Gratitude will get you from morning, noon. It replaces all complaining. Because when you really think about the things that you can be grateful for, it could take you a long time to go over those. So gratitude is the foundation of good living. It really is. And I'm so glad you asked that.
So do you have any practices that you could suggest to the people listening about how they can apply gratitude into their life?
I do. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I thank the Most High. I thank the Most High. I go into what's called an affirmative prayer. And I learned that also from Agape. I consider Agape my church. And I took a class last year called the 6-part series of affirmative prayer. The prayer begins with gratitude. It then goes into recognition, recognizing who the Spirit is, who God is. God is called by many names, whether it be the presence, the divine, the one, the great I am. So the first is gratitude. Second is recognizing who God is, recognizing God's quality of being omni-aware, omni-active, omnipresent. Then it goes on to unification. We are all one with God. God is not some man in the sky sitting on a throne that sits up high and looks down low, that we have to beg and beseech. God is a presence we are never absent from. So that is unification. So that's the next part of the prayer. Then after unification is realization. What do you realize? What do you know to be truth? Because the beauty about truth is it never changes. God is today, yesterday, and always will be God. He will still continue to love us so much that God places a sun in the sky with a beautiful sunrise. Just the fanfare of that. Just seeing the sunrise. Like, hey, God showed out with the sunrise. And then the sun sets, and then a moon and stars every day. We have a realization of what truth is. And the next step is Thanksgiving. Every time I go into prayer, by the time I have the Thanksgiving, I say, I'm thankful that my words are law. I am thankful that my words are true. And the last step is release. I release this prayer, and I say, and so it is. Amen. Amen. And so when that's my practice every single day of my life. If I skip a day, I've got to get right back on it the next morning. There's no beating myself up about it, but I go right back into it. So that's a practice. I'm not saying that everybody needs to do a 6-part affirmative prayer, but when you wake up in the morning, what are you grounding yourself in? Is it social media? Is it picking up the phone? Is it turning on the TV? Is it making a call? Or just check in first with the presence, with the divine, with yourself, along with that leading that gratitude.
Intentionality.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Start your day with intention.
Beautiful word.
Yes. Yeah. You're looking back at your life. What has chaos?
What has chaos? That it no longer fits me. It no longer serves me. And that I recognize it when I see it. And I know how to bob and weave and avoid it.
That is beautiful, right? To be able to see it coming and to say, I choose not to partake.
You know what I liken it to, Erica? Have you ever been, and I would venture to say you have, walked into an area, whether it be a store, walking down the street, wherever, and you've heard someone on their cell phone talking loud and angry? Yes, that happens quite often. You could be in a waiting room, somebody will be on their phone. So what I said? Yeah, that is how I visualize, how I've been visualizing. Every time you say the word chaos, I see that. I see that person being so embroiled in that conversation to be so angry, and I'm going to be angrier than you, and my words are going to be more angrier than yours. That's all a choice, like you said.
Yeah.
And I'm going to avoid that. Yeah. I'm going to avoid that.
That is powerful. Because, yeah, like you said, I mean, we can all have clarity if we so desire, right? If we so desire.
Yes.
Right? It's just a mindset shifting of the perspective, taking the moment to really adhere to the moment that is at hand.
Yeah.
I love it. So that wraps up that section. Now we're going to go into that final. All right. So on the podcast, Sitting with Wisdom, we have our guests pull a question or two from the bowl and answer.
That's beautiful. I love your poem. Okay, did I read it or you read it?
I'll read it.
Okay. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm. What's the one habit you've developed that has most improved your life?
Ooh, I'm so glad I pulled that question. Earlier, I mentioned life visioning, also learned from the Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, who wrote a book called The Life Visioning Process. Okay. So, in the market for a new book is that book. life vision is basically in a nutshell, like I said earlier, when I mentioned earlier, speak only the things you want for your life. So in the book, the Rev teaches us how to life vision. What do we want for our lives? When we talk about getting up to our highest potential or reaching a higher potential, because we have so much in us.
Yes.
We're smooth. We have so much in us. There's a part in my life last year where I realized I was at a job that was going to lead to nowhere. When it came time for me to get my raise, I thought I was going to get a big raise, and my raise was abysmal. And I remember looking at my boss saying, "That's all?" And I said, "I'm an MVP for this department."
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. And I knew then it was time to go, right? So I decided that I needed to start life visioning. What do you want for your life? Not what you don't want. You don't speak about what you don't want. See, because the universe doesn't speak English. Universe speaks frequency. So I started based on what I learned from the Reverend, from that book, Life Visioning. I said, I'm going to come up with my life visioning process, and I'm going to say it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was, and still is, I am open and receptive to the intuitive wisdom and guidance permeating the universe to catch the feeling tone of beauty, intelligence, offering the revelation of my right life. For I am grateful for this, so much more. So if you see yourself walking into it, right? Mine was livelihood. That was my thing. Somebody might be life visioning for something else. I repeat that every single day, and I believe it. My frequency is in alignment with what I want. I only say those words. I applied for a job last year, went to several interviews, and I realized at the end I didn't want the job. I was like, I don't want to do this job. But I was so happy they called me because so many other jobs hadn't been calling. I ended up not getting the job. I still resigned from my former job without a job. I didn't have a job, and I still quit because I said, I need to go so I can grow. But I kept repeating my life visioning process because I meant that. I meant that mantra. Time went on. 2 months later, I got a call from that hiring manager that did not hire. What was he calling me for? The person I work out there, you want me? I don't want the job. Gentleman called me up and said, Zonnetta, I didn't hire you for that job because I thought you would kill it. I thought you would crush it, but I thought you would get bored. But guess what? There's another job coming out, and it's got your name on it. He said, this job is perfect for you, Zonnetta. It hasn't been posted. I want to give your name to the hiring manager, my counterpart. I'm telling you, we loved you. When you interviewed, we adored you. We wanted you, but I couldn't do that to you. I interviewed for that job that he saw. I said, sure. I said, well, he and I had such a good rapport. I said, let me cut across the field. How much is this job paying? He told me, he said it pays a lot more than what I was going to offer. A lot. Looked at the job description. I got the call from the hiring manager. She sent me the posting. I looked at it, wished her a happy new year, thanked her, looked at that job. I said, why is this job got Zonnetta all over it? I applied for that job. I got a phone call when I got back home on a Monday, interviewed on a Friday, second interview the following Monday. I just accepted that job this morning. Making more money than I have made in the last 10 years. So when I say, when you get in alignment with what you want, this isn't mumbo jumbo. This isn't magic. This isn't trickery. This is you stripping away old bad habits and old negative chatter that does not serve you. And you say, I'm amazing. I'm made for greatness. And I start my job on February 10th. Wow. Life vision. Thank you. Life vision. What you want. Say it. And the universe will yield to what you want.
Living in the flow.
Life is on our side. Life is on our side. All our needs are met. Everything is working out for our.
That is beautiful. And I really appreciate you coming on today. Being our first.
Yay, thank you.
Hey everybody, so this is it. This is the end of today's episode of Sitting with Wisdom, a space where deep conversation sparks transformation and where the lessons of those who have walked the path before us become guiding lights on our own journey. This podcast is about more than just words. It's about wisdom in action, finding clarity, healing, and alignment in every area of life. So, if today's episode resonated with you, I hope you take the time to reflect, to share this episode with someone else who may be inspired. And most importantly, I hope you take the time to apply what you have learned. Application is so important. Now, if you could do one simple thing for me, which is take the time to subscribe. I have so many more projects, so many more podcast episodes, and I'm so excited to get them out there, to share a little bit more wisdom as we all come together collectively to heal our community, heal ourselves, and create a better future for the next generation. So, join me next time as I explore more of life's wisdoms. And until then, stay open, stay present, keep walking your path with wisdom. Peace.